Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about my top 25 favourite movies from the year 2007. So these are all in accordance with the release dates from IMDb again, and again there's no real right or wrong to this list. These are just my top 25 favourite movies from '07. So that being said, I've got quite a few honourable mentions I want to get into. 2007 churned out some absolute great movies, quite a lot of them as well. Now, the movies I'm going to run through aren't exactly everything I've seen, but these are the ones that I've just picked out and think that they are really deserving of a mention. So, going to kick it off with my list of honourable mentions. As I said, I've got quite a few, so I'm going to get through these quite quickly. My first honourable mention is a movie a lot of people hate. I don't actually mind it, and that's Spider-Man 3. I kind of really like Spider-Man 3. Yeah, don't hate me. Yeah, it has its flaws, do not get me wrong. The Peter Danson sequences are stupid and have no business being anywhere near this movie. But for me, I actually really, really enjoy that scene where Sandman's putting himself back together. That's one of the best sequences in any of the Spider-Man films, in my opinion. But yeah, and I actually do think that the characters and the conflicts are pretty legit, and I do actually kind of like them. But as I said, this movie is not without its flaws. Like, the first two movies are quite silly and goofy as well, but this one just takes that step too far. So yeah, I don't actually mind Spider-Man 3. Next honourable mention is The Bourne Ultimatum. Really good round off to the trilogy. Great action movies with Matt Damon. Yeah, just think the Bourne movies are really, really entertaining. Next honourable mention for me is a little film called Control. This is basically like a Rise and a biopic of the band Joy Division about Ian Curtis. I thought it was just really, really fantastic and had some really good funny moments in it too. My next honourable mention is The Bucket List. Great Rob Reiner movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. Persepolis, great animated movie. I believe this was produced by Kathleen Kennedy as well. Yeah, she's done some really good producing in terms of movies, apart from the stuff with Disney and Star Wars, in my opinion. She should stay well away from that. Next up, In the Valley of Eli, I thought this was a really good action, not an action movie, but a really good drama movie. Had a real good drive to it as well. Great performances from Tommy Lee Jones and Charlize Theron as well. Really, really enjoyed it. My next pick is a little bit of an underrated movie. It's not a fantastic movie, but I didn't hate this movie. And that is Sex and Death 101. I don't know how many people have seen this, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was Simon Baker and Winona Ryder. I won't get too much into the plot, but it was a bit of a unique tale, to say the least, and I thought it was really, really fun with what it was doing. And next honourable mention, Knocked Up. I can't really say much more about it because everyone's sort of seen this movie. If you like Seth Rogen movies, check this one out. Next honourable mention is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. It's a bit of a mouthful, that title, but it's a fantastic western with Brad Pitt. Really dug that one. Next up is La Vie en Rose. Fantastic performance in this by Marion Cotillard. I thought it was just absolutely brilliant, that performance. Well deserved of the Best Actress Oscar from that year. I Am Legend, Will Smith. Fantastic post-apocalyptic movie, this. Sort of like these vampire zombie creatures that can't come out in daylight, and Will Smith's pretty much like the last man on Earth, and how he's like trying to survive with his dog. Some real tear-jerky stuff in this movie as well. I won't spoil it, but yeah, it was really enjoyable. Next up is Paranormal Activity. I've not seen any of the sequels, and I don't plan on seeing any of them, really. I really thought this movie was quite creepy for what it does. You're either going to hate or love it. You're going to find that it either scares you and gets under your skin, or it does absolutely fuck all for you. I thought it was quite creepy and effective, really, for what it did. And yeah, I've got no plans to watch this with the lights off at any time soon. Next honorable mention for me is Once. Now, no pun intended saying this, but I believe this is a movie that everyone should probably see at least once. Yeah, it's sort of about these two musicians who meet and fall in love, and I thought this movie was just absolutely great. Didn't quite get on the list for me, but yeah, it's a slow burn type movie. Not a lot really happens in it, but it's hugely enjoyable and is totally worth checking out. My second to last honourable mention is Trick or Treat. Yeah, great little creepy anthology movie, this, that absolutely drips with the atmosphere of Halloween. And my last honourable mention is Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino. In my opinion, probably Tarantino's weakest movie. And probably gonna guess that a lot of people have that sort of feel to it as well. But by no means a bad movie. You could go as far to say it's his most underrated. But yeah, it's compared to his other work, I just prefer the other stuff, to be honest. But as I said, it's not a bad movie. So, that being said, I'm going to get into the list of 25 movies now that are my personal favourites from this year. So I'm going to kick it off with number 25, and that is Stardust. Not a movie I enjoyed the first time I saw it, but the second time, really got into this one. Thought it was just a great fantasy epic. Don't know if there were any plans to do a sequel at any point, but it's probably too late in the game now. But yeah, Stardust for me was one way of checking out. If it doesn't sit with you the first time, give it another chance, because I certainly enjoyed it the second time. Number 24 for me is 3:10 to Yuma with Russell Crowe, Christian Bale. Fantastic Western, this movie. Thought it was just absolutely great. Jam-packed, full of all the tropes of the Western and fantastic action. So yeah, 3:10 to Yuma, definitely worth checking out. At number 23 for me is Atonement. Thought this was a fantastic drama, this one. Absolutely great performances from James McAvoy and Keira Knightley, Saoirse Ronan as well. It's sort of about this couple that get discovered, and the girl in it sort of accuses the gentleman of doing something, and how that effect really takes hold. But yeah, Atonement, just absolutely great movie. Didn't enjoy it the first time, but the second time really won me over. Pretty similar to Stardust in that. I always find that with movies sometimes, if you don't enjoy them the first time, give them a bit of time, give them another watch, you might feel differently about it. So, my next pick at number 22 is Michael Bay's Transformers. This is the only Transformers movie you will see on any of the lists that I do. I think the first one's pretty solid for what it is. All the sequels are pretty much garbage, apart from Bumblebee. That's got some great stuff on Cybertron. But yeah, this is a great movie to just go into if you just want to turn your mind off, not think too much, and have pretty much the movie sort of fed to you. But yeah, I can't say much more than that really. It's just like a great blockbuster movie which doesn't require much thought, but it is a ton of fun and very entertaining. Shame none of the sequels sort of had that charm the first one did, in my opinion. So, coming up next to me at 21 is Juno, with the now Elliot Page and Michael Cera, who I absolutely cannot stand for the life of me. Yeah, I'm just going to get into a rant on him a little bit here. I can't stand Michael Cera. He is the most pointless, useless actor I've ever seen in my life. Plays the same role in every sort of film. The guy just has absolutely no range. He's about as useful as a handbrake on a canoe. Just can't stand the guy at all. Absolutely useless actor. But yeah, you're probably wondering, saying that, why is this film on your list then? I actually really dug the stuff with Jennifer Garner and Jason Bateman. And let's be honest, J.K. Simmons, he's great in everything he's in as well. So it sort of follows Juno, who's pregnant and is basically just decides to put the baby up for adoption. And it's about sort of her bond with the couple looking to adopt, and they discover things about themselves too. Didn't like this the first time. The characters got on my tits massively, but yeah, second viewing I was impressed a lot more. But yeah, can't stand Michael Cera, even though he's on another film on this list later on. Number 20 for me is Ridley Scott's American Gangster. Yeah, just a great gangster movie. This feels like a Scorsese movie, but done by Ridley Scott, in my opinion. Great cast with Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington. Great 10 scenes in this movie. Thought it was just absolutely fantastic. And got better with repeated viewings too. So my next pick at number 19 is The Simpsons movie. This feels like an episode of The Simpsons with money and character injected into it on a bigger scale, as it were. Yeah, Homer does something wrong, and basically it's about him trying to fix it, and the journey he goes on, and that's pretty much the movie. It's got all the characters in it you would expect to see from the TV show. But yeah, thought it was a pretty good movie to come out of a very loved and successful TV show. But yeah, I really do love The Simpsons, particularly those first 9 to 10 seasons. Just absolute gold. So, coming up next for me at number 18 is the Sean Penn directed movie Into the Wild. Yeah, what a sort of sad and tragic story, really, about this guy who pretty much sort of gave up all of his possessions and just went to live in the wilderness. And based on a true story, and of course, you know, I won't spoil what happened if you haven't seen the film or want to see the film, but it had this very tragic ending. It's about sort of discovering oneself as well. It's just one of those sort of movies where you just feel as if you're going on this epic journey, and I really enjoyed it. Just really solidly written and directed by Sean Penn, this movie. I thought it was just absolutely great. So coming up next for me at number 17 is pretty much an underrated movie. I believe this was Sidney Lumet's last movie that he made. And that is Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Great cast in this with Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ethan Hawke, Marissa Tomei, who is just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. I mean, the opening scenes of this movie, you just think to yourself, Philip Seymour Hoffman, you absolute lucky bastard. How did you get to film something like that? But yeah, absolutely great sort of like heist movie as well. Thought it was just, you know, so entertaining. Great performances in this movie as well. So if you've not seen Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, seek it out, check it out. Don't think you'll regret it. So coming up next for me at number 16 is Wes Anderson's Darjeeling Limited. Yeah, I love this movie. You just massively fall in love with all these characters. Pretty much these three brothers, by Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman. Their fathers recently passed away, so they go on this journey through India and just sort of try to rebond, as it were. Angelica Houston's in there as well as the mother. Everything you would expect from Wes Anderson, you know, all those shots of symmetry are all in here as well. Yeah, as I said, great performances. Really dug this movie. If you like movies from him, like Grand Budapest Hotel, Bottle Rocket, and Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, check this one out as well. Absolutely great film. So, coming up next for me at number 15 is Gone Baby Gone. Yeah, man, this movie's dark about this family who the little girl gets kidnapped, and it's about the police taking on the investigation and trying to get her back. Great cast as well: Morgan Freeman, Ed Harris, Casey Affleck. Also, this movie is noted as being the directorial debut of Ben Affleck as well. I mean, my God, the movies he's directed, sort of everything apart from Live by Night, has been superb from Ben Affleck. Like Argo and The Town, just great films. Needs to get back to form and churn out movies like this. But yeah, Gone Baby Gone, very dark movie, but massively surprised to see Ben Affleck's directional talent just come to life. Absolutely great. So my next pick at number 14 is Frank Darabont's The Mist. My God, this movie is so creepy and it really, really gets under your skin. It basically follows these people in a shopping mall. Well, not a shopping mall, in a supermarket. And a mist sort of just overtakes everything outside, but the mist hides all these creatures that will just kill you in the most horrible and horrific way. And every sort of paranoia set in this supermarket. It leads to one of the most frustrating characters in movies ever, this absolute religious nut who sort of turns everyone absolutely insane. Sort of just creates this sort of religious mass hysteria in this supermarket, and you just think, oh my God, how are they going to get out of this? And they just sort of turn on each other. Just a great claustrophobic feeling and paranoia type of movie, and it has one of the most shocking endings to a movie ever, in my opinion. I'm just going to say, have an animated film on standby to sort of like get you out of the shock of the ending of this film. But yeah, The Mist is absolute great. So coming up next for me at number 13 is Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I thought this was a great revenge film. Pretty much about this barber who sort of got wronged because of his involvement with this judge's daughter, played wonderfully by Alan Rickman, the judge, that is. Great cast of this as well. You know, Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Timothy Spall, Alan Rickman, Sacha Baron Cohen, who meets, well, I won't get into the spoilers, but what happened there was just absolutely horrific, in my opinion. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that scene at all. Wasn't expecting this movie to be as violent as it was. But yeah, it's what probably one of the last great Tim Burton films, in my opinion. But yeah, massively enjoyed Sweeney Todd. Even the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, that movie's really won me over. So, next on my list, at number 12 for me, is Hot Rod. This movie's hysterical. I absolutely love it. It cracks me up every time I watch it. Plus, it follows Andy Samberg, who plays this this stunt rider who sort of wants to follow in the footsteps of his real dad. But he's absolutely terrible at these stunts. And the movie just basically, he has this rivalry with his stepdad, and he just wants to kick his stepdad's ass all the time, played by Ian McShane. But he has this illness, and he needs money to raise money to help him so he can get him well and kick his ass. That's basically the plot of the movie. The characters on the way in this are absolutely hysterical. Danny McBride, I absolutely love anything he's in, like Eastbound and Down, and Pineapple Express. Just, yeah, he just cracks me up at anything, and this film's no exception either. But yeah, it was produced by Will Ferrell, so it has that Will Ferrell type of humour. But if that's not for you, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But I had a blast with Hot Rod. It was just so much fun. So, coming up next to me at number 11 is Death at a Funeral. This is the British version of the film. I've not seen the American one, and I have no intention of seeing it either. I've heard it's absolutely dire. I've just heard stick with this one. It's absolutely superb. It's about this family whose the father has passed away, and it's his funeral, and it just leads to absolutely hilarious hijinks that happen at a funeral and probably shouldn't happen. We learn as well about the father. There was a lot more to his character that was let on to his family, which sort of connects to Peter Dinklage, who turns up and ends up actually blackmailing the family at this funeral. Yeah, this movie was hysterical. The characters in it, the actors in it, just absolutely on point, and I just fell in love the first time I saw it, and it had me in fits of laughter. So, Death at a Funeral, fully recommend that one. So, my next pick at number 10 is Superbad. This is one of the funniest Seth Rogen movies, I think. Just absolutely great. Jonah Hill's pretty good in it as well. Emma Stone, Michael Cera, I cannot stand. I've already got into that. Brought us the character McLovin. Has a scene in this as well, and I won't say which scene, but it totally ripped off another scene that was in a movie from 2000 called High Fidelity. Now, if you've seen those two movies, you'll probably know which scene I'm on about, but I'll leave it to you to guess which one I am on about. But yeah, the movie's basically about these students, they're going to college. They pretty much just want to go to this party and hook up. And that's basically the movie. And it takes place pretty much just over one night and how they go on this journey. And I had a blast with it. Apart from Michael Cera, the movie's just a ton of fun. So yeah, fully recommend Superbad as well. So, my next pick at number 9 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, I was very sort of disappointed with the fourth movie. Just the story. I felt the Triwizards Cup was very sort of unnecessary up until the end of that story. But this one picks up and does everything I wanted the fourth film and story to do. Shit's going down and everyone's getting prepared for it. It's really, really interesting as well to have a character like Cornelius Fudge, who is pretty much blinded by ignorance and just completely just only believes what he wants to believe. Now, people like that in the real world are so very, very dangerous when they're presented with a threat and choose to look the other way and choose to just not believe it. It's so dangerous, and I thought it was fascinating in this film. And we get to see sort of like Harry take command a little bit in this movie and take things into his own hands. We find out more about his parents and the revolt they started when they tried to take down Voldemort. That part of Harry Potter really, really fascinates me, and I would love to see more about that, from the first Wizarding War, which I think the Fantastic Beasts movies is trying to get to. But yeah, Order of the Phoenix, I thought this was a massive, massive step up from the previous one, and I really, really enjoyed it. So, coming up next to me at number 8 is Pixar's Ratatouille. This is just a movie that makes me hungry. Has just some absolute great scenes to it. Great animation as well. It pretty much follows Remy the rat, who appreciates food a lot more than his clan does, shall we say. And he sort of ends up meeting this sort of wash boy who's like a helping hand at this restaurant, and he sort of takes control of him to create new recipes for the restaurant, and it turns out to be a massive, massive big hit. The voice acting in this is absolutely superb. The design of the critic, voiced by Peter O'Toole, is one of my favourite Pixar characters. He just looks absolutely great. And the animation of Paris, it looks so photogenic. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, Ratatouille, one of Pixar's best in my opinion. One of the most underrated ones as well. So, coming up at number 7 for me is David Cronenberg's Eastern Promises. So in Viggo Mortensen, Naomi Watts, and Vincent Castle. This movie starts off with pretty much with this pregnant girl who gives birth and dies giving birth. Basically, that's the start of the movie. So I'm not really getting into too much spoilers there. But you find out more about her past and more about her connection to this Russian mob. And Viggo Mortensen is just absolutely fantastic in this film. I said this in my last video about 2005, sorry. It makes for a great double feature with a history of violence, this movie. And I'll say this, one of the scenes in this movie I thought was absolutely fantastic, which is a fight scene that takes place in this sort of bathhouse. My God, was that just riveting and had me on the edge of my seat. That fight scene, I thought it was just so gritty and realistic. So yeah, if you like your violent type mob movies, give Eastern Promises a go, man. It's got some really uncomfortable stuff in it, which was just fantastic for me. So coming in at number 6 for me is David Fincher's Zodiac. Yeah, this is a movie that gets stronger and stronger for me the more and more I watch it. Pretty much about, the press and the police trying to hunt down this Zodiac killer. And some of the scenes in this movie are just absolutely gorgeous. The way it's shot. So creepy as well when this killer actually makes the kills. And the phone calls as well are just absolutely haunting. The end sequence they have, I won't spoil what happened, but the Zodiac killer, I think in real life, was never actually really caught. They had a suspicion as to who it was, but something happened there which I won't spoil, which was in the film. It doesn't really answer whether he was the killer or not, but it leaves it up to you, and it ends on this great note where this guy just identifies who it was who attacked him. It's so good. The performance in this as well. It's a bit of an MC reunion before the MCU. Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr. Just great actors in a fantastic movie. It's probably up there for me with when I think about David Fincher movies. I'm not a big fan of The Social Network, but I do love Fight Club and I do love Gone Girl. This one's up there for me with those. Just absolutely great movie. Just the more I think about it, I really want to rewatch that one. Just even talking about it right now. So yeah, these next two picks, number 4 and 5, I don't think many people will have heard of them, but I'm going to talk about them anyway because I think these are two really important movies. So number 5 for me is The Man from Earth. I absolutely love and adore this movie. It's probably the deepest movie on this list. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll get into the premise. It takes place basically entirely in this one room, and it's about a group of teachers who are saying farewell to one of their colleagues because he's leaving, and it sort of evolves into the reasons as to why he's leaving. Basically, he convinces his colleagues that he is Jesus Christ, and you may have your speculations about that, but the conversation that is had in this film just really doesn't make you know what to believe whatsoever, and it is riveting and fantastic. So it's not worth me talking about it. It's just probably worth you going out to check this movie out because it's just so riveting and absolutely fantastic. But as I said, if you like movies that are slow and takes place in one room and are all dialogue and conversation driven, this movie's absolutely perfect, and I think it's superb. For me, yeah, one of the best from 2007. That's why it's my number 5 pick. So my number 4 pick is a movie I'm not going to talk too long about. It's a Bollywood movie called Like Stars on Earth. Now, as somebody who is dyslexic, even struggling to say the word. I related to this movie so much. It captures everything about having it and dealing with it on every level, and I can't say much more than that. If you have dyslexia, I implore you to check this film out. It's absolutely great, and it really connected with me and resonated with me. One of the best Bollywood movies I've ever seen. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, if you do have dyslexia, find this movie and check it out. It's so good. So, coming in at my number 3 pick is Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, second entry into the Cornetto trilogy. This movie is absolutely hysterical and I absolutely love it. It pretty much follows Nicholas Angel, played by Simon Pegg, who is pretty much outshining all of the police in London in every single way, shape and form. So he gets relocated to this village where the crime levels are pretty much non-existent. But this village that he's in has this sort of undertone to it of a bit of a sinister cult following, shall we say. And yeah, it has probably some of the most gruesome murders in it ever. I don't know if you noticed at the end of this movie as well, with the big shootout when everything comes to a head, nobody actually really dies. They get heavily injured. But yeah, and the line in this that has me cracking the most, it's a scene between Simon Pegg and Paddy Considine, where Paddy Considine's like saying to him, well, where were you when all this was taking place? And he was like, I was buying him a Japanese peace lily. And Paddy Considine just goes, what absolute shit. That line has me in hysterics every single time. His delivery of that makes me piss my pants with laughter. It's so much fun. But yeah, Hot Fuzz, such an absolute joy of a film. It's got all the Edgar Wright idioms as well, the fast-paced editing, the jokes that you really have to watch this movie a couple of times to get, because you'll probably miss them because it's so fast-paced. But when you do see them, they're absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Hot Fuzz, superb movie. So, coming up next to me at number 2 is the movie that won Best Picture this year. And I don't think I've ever really seen a movie win Best Picture like this before. And it's the Coen Brothers' No Country for Old Men. The star of this movie, for me, is Javier Bardem as this absolutely terrifying villain. Pretty much kills people with this fucking cow piston thing. Oh, God, it's absolutely frightening. His performance in this, superb. I just think he really tapped into something here that was really special. Yeah, it has all these sort of tropes of the Western genre as well that I really dug. Something very early Coen Brothers about this movie as well. It reminded me a lot of a Blood Simple. Just really sort of creepy, finding a lot of money on the run, trying to keep it. Really enjoyed this one. Stellar cast as well. Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson's in there as well. But Javier Bardem steals the show for me. Just, No Country for Old Men. Absolutely great. So, my number 1 pick from 2007 is P.T. Anderson's There Will Be Blood. Daniel Day-Lewis, man, fully deserved the win for this, winning his second Oscar for Best Actor. It's Daniel, is it Plainfield? I can't remember his surname. But my God, the performance in this that he gives, just absolutely fantastic, as this absolutely ruthless sort of entrepreneur who's in it for the oil and the money. Just absolutely terrifying. I love the clash between him and Paul Dano's character. Paul Dano in this as well should have been I don't think he was, but he should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He was just superb in this film. But I can see from this movie onwards and anything Paul Dano's in, you either love or hate him. But for me, I just thought he was fascinating in this movie. It's the shots, the scenery in it, just absolutely superb. The climax of this movie, the "I drink your milkshake" speech. Oh God, it's superb, and I love everything about this movie. The dialogue, the acting is just on point. Daniel Day-Lewis is terrifying in this. Even the scene as well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but involving his adopted son and what he does something absolutely despicable. And he's sort of like repenting for his sins at church. That scene he does where he breaks down and Paul Dano's like just pushing him too far. Oh my God, it's so good. But yeah, There Will Be Blood. Fan-fucking-tastic movie. So yeah, those are my top 25 movies from 2007. So yeah, bit of a long one this year. It just, as you can see, it churned out so many good movies. I fully implore you to check these out if you've not seen them. I absolutely really enjoyed what this year had on offer. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, I'll just say I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll say if you're new to the channel and enjoyed the content, please think about subscribing. And I hope I've inspired you to check some of these movies out if you've not seen them. Maybe rewatch them if you've enjoyed them before. So yeah, I'll leave the video there and just say thanks very much for watching. Take care and stay safe.